Doesn't matter where you go, size of the territory, not knowing anyone there. It is so easy to build a base anywhere through utilizing social media. Just how, Danny just moved here and had one of his biggest campaigns of his career, moving and not knowing anyone in New Orleans and starting from scratch. He really hit social media hard, and I'm really excited now to be building our team through it because, what can I say? Well, I don't have reps necessarily to build off of with PR, like all these old existing reps or this team or whatever. I've got Culver, but a lot of his people also got tapped out in HTX with Jeremy Jones and all the St. Pius, and we all shared like the same schools. So we're going to get more people for sure, and I'm going to get PRs from him now for the holiday break. But even starting from scratch when I moved here, what did I do? So like I came here, and this was something that helped me get some of the first initial contacts when we said, okay, how do we get started in a brand new area? We've got no PR, so there's different things that you can do, right? This is besides social media. So I moved to a territory and I want recruits, right? How do I get recruits? Because there's one thing is we're sending out letters, right? And those letters are gonna come out. You'll have some mailers that the company sends out. And so you'll get, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, some of you maybe 100 calls that'll come in the course of like 4 to 6 weeks from letters that you sent out. Cool. So it just depends on the territory. Some of us get more than that because we spent a crap ton more. Where you might send 5,000 mailers, I sent out 55,000 mailers last summer. So you'll have mailers. So you have some calls that'll come in from that. How else do we get calls? How else do we get people that come in? So we have mailers. What else? Right. Online sources. Right. So this would be. By the way, do we place those?
Yeah.
Company placed. All right. It depends division. It depends on where you're at. We have headquarters that places those for us. Could you place an additional one? Can you place for a receptionist? Yeah, heck yeah, I would definitely do that. All right. But the company, and they place it on. What are all these things? There's Snagajob, Monster.com, Career Builder, all those different sources. So they put stuff online. So you're going to have online applications that come in from just random online sources. You're going to have from mailers. How else can, and this just comes, we just pay for and it happens. This, again, we pay for it happens. They do it. We have nothing to do with that. They send it out for us. So we don't have to do anything else except just make sure it's set up. So those are kind of collective sources. It's like whatever comes in, comes in. There's not much we can do to create that, okay? What else can we do creation-wise here? So we want, I just moved there. Who are you PRing? I've known a PR yet, or I could.
Known friends.
Of who? You know what I did when I got here? I reached out to old reps, and I found one rep that I went to eat. He wasn't gonna be able to work. He was leaving for the summer, but he was down to help me out with getting PRs. And I said, hey, dude, anyone who hits their first promotion, I'll throw you $50 as a thank you. He was like, yeah, heck yeah. So we sent Facebook messages through his messages, and I got 5 of my reps this summer from him, by the way, and not just those 5, but PR teams that came off of that from this summer. So that was a big source where he worked for an old manager in the territory. I said, hey, here's what we're building. I'm new. I just moved here. And he said, I'm going to be gone. I'm not really looking to work again. I said, well, hey, dude, if you're down, I can make you some cash for helping out. I said, I can give you $50 a person that starts. And if they do that, and he was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm down for it. I'm like, hey, you don't have to do anything. I said, we got to send out some messages, put up some posts or whatever, and I'll handle the rest. I said, I'll keep track of, who comes in, and I'll pay you out for it. He was like, yeah, I'm down. So we did that. So that's, reaching out to old reps. How do you reach out to old reps? You guys can make a note. Email, all right? Email, or you don't even, it's not even an email. It's in Vector Connect, it's info support, all right? So you can email or just info support on Vector Connect. And when you go on to info support, you request what you want. So what would you request? I requested all representatives in the past 2 years that had hit their first promotion. All right, that's what I requested. You can say who submitted a sale. You be more open net depending what territory you've been in. Some of your territories might not have had an office there in a while. All right, so this might not be a big source for you. All right, but then we have social media, so that's where you'll go from. But that's one way, is if it's a territory where there have been offices before, seeing are there old reps in that territory, info support. By the way, the receptionist ad that you put on, when they come in for interviews, you're getting PRs from the receptionist, by the way. You're getting PRs from their acceptance sheet when they come in for an interview, just like a regular interview for the job. So, hey, we're looking to build a team. Because when you interview receptionists, by the way, you talk about the company they represent, right? The job opportunity for the students, you know, all the good stuff about it. You share that with them so they know. And at the end, you get PR names from there. So that could start off, by the way. That was, I remember in Puerto Rico, we won a silver cup down there. One of my girls, Jessica, and that really built her organization, was getting her receptionist hired and then getting PRs from her receptionist. And in different years, those have been some of my best people, came from a receptionist and one of their friends, and then the chains that came from them. So that's something that from a receptionist ad. And by the way, you can post receptionist ads on different Facebook groups, you know, in that territory. You can put it on Craigslist. You can put receptionist, you know, admin jobs. You can also post them where else? So receptionist, sorry, so I'll put here. So this is Craigslist. That you'd post yourself, your receptionist ad. You can post on job postings at university. By the way, this is for both jobs. You put a posting for receptionist position, all right? And guys, what you do is you go to the school website, all right? If you guys go to your school website, whatever university you have, if you have a community college or whatever, they have a job board, right? They have a career services, and employers can post jobs there. Want to go on as an employer, and you want to put a job posting up for receptionist, you also want to put a job posting up for the rep position. So that's another way for you to get, that goes on both jobs, all right? So you post that. So Craigslist job postings, you can put flyers, like flyers on campus. You can make posters as well. You can clipboard, and these are all the things that you can also do, all right? These for a rep, you can do those as well. So I moved to the territory. I want to put a job posting up. If I have a community college or university, I definitely want to, you know, get something up there. But in the smaller territories where there might not be a school, the big thing is going to be the social media advertising. And that's how some of, you know, small territories this past summer, and like Whitney Allen, who's one of the best in the nation and was #1 in Southwest region, went to like a small town that no one had ever been in, and out of nothing, and she's not the most dynamic individual, all right, but just followed the program, did stuff, but she just hit social media advertising, followed what she was supposed to do, and absolutely crushed it. She didn't have like a big DM type territory or anything, okay? And it was all through that. So you guys have social media, or excuse me, mailers. We've got the online students, the company places, got old reps. If I just moved to a territory that I can reach out to, maybe I don't have old reps. I want to make sure I put job postings. I want to see if I can get any tables on campus, right? So can I get any info tables? This would be in my high schools and in my colleges. I want tables at anywhere that I can get tables. I want to check on any job fairs. This was something that Caitlin did this past year, and I didn't even look into ahead of time. Some of the high schools have job fairs, by the way, and I didn't even know that. Some of the communities have job fairs. So looking into, you know, where are there any part-time job fairs, internship job fairs that you might be able to be a part of. So you want to check that out in the spring, because maybe that's in April. You know, maybe it's in May, and you'll be able to do that earlier. Like Caitlin literally flew down in April, you know, while she was still in school, to run a job fair at one of her high schools, and then flew back up to school because she didn't want to miss out, and it was going to be a big, you know, a lot of the best students that were going to be there, you know. So can you look into that once you know your territory? And by year in Bengal, everyone knows territories. My goal is to have territory decisions by December 19th, but definitely by a year in Bengal, everyone will know where they're going by January 15th. All right, so hopefully prior to that, but you'll have your territory. But looking up, hey, what's happening in March, April, May to build momentum and start meeting people and really getting your crew together for the summertime, all right? So that's a big thing that you guys can look at. So tables, and then we have social media advertising, all right? Once we have some reps, then after that, you've got your PR program, right? And we'll have all the components of that. But this is just stuff that gets you going. And again, biggest one, starting a new territory. And thank you to the SEC team for really leading the charge with this. but just how do we find reps through so that we don't know through social media. This is something Jordy Jones really kicked off last year, and they just kind of ran with it. And there's so many different versions of stuff that have gone around the nation right now and things that are being tested. So this will evolve, by the way. This has been a quote unquote new program in terms of getting people, but it's been really revolutionary for a lot of the offices that have hit it. And so with the Google link, everyone's really liking the Google link. But where do we put the Google link? We just give it to them afterwards. There's one test right now where they send it initially, right? The rest of us are just sending that if it's a friend to friend. If it's someone else, it's just the message. And then when they want info, hey, check this link out, has some more information, fill out an application. But then there's a test. Instead of telling them about the job, just saying, hey, and the initial message is, I run a business, or I just opened a new business in the area. We have some part-time work available. Let me know if you or anyone you know might be looking for part-time work. And it's very similar. It doesn't explain anything. And they're like, oh, what is it or what company? Then they're like, oh, it's an entry level, $16, and they give more info then. So for right now, we're going to stick with the message that's been working this year. As all the tests are going through this next month, there will be adjustments to this. I know as we go into year-end banquet, for sure. There might be adjustments as of December 19th, but for sure by year-end banquet, because we decided on doing kind of a 6 to 8 week run, a couple different teams testing this out. So we're going to be rolling with what I showed you guys, or what you guys have learned here. So in terms of social media, so do you guys feel comfortable with this, by the way? So the goal is, how do I get my first 1 to 3 reps, not having anyone in that territory, so then I can do this, okay? When I moved to Miami, we were very blessed to have a lot of campuses. So this was the biggest part for us. I had over 30 people from campus in my first training. And then this happened, and then the rest was history. Okay.
30
and by the way, we hit for 2 months straight. We hit campuses. We set them off for this one meeting, just like we do right now for the next 4 weeks for after Christmas seminar. We review people. We set them. We had like 100, something people set for training. More from campus, from running campus tables, recruitment on campus. That's all I had, because we don't have meals in March, April. We didn't have, let's go to every college, let's put out flyers, let's put up posters, like that's it. And this was 7 years ago. It's like, let's just get the word out. We literally made a list of every single school, all the private schools that were in the area within an hour, all the tech schools, by the way. This includes Beauty Schools of America, Kaiser College, DeVry University, different tech schools, the airplane, I forgot the auto blah, 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 that it's like an airplane school. It was by the airport, and it was for like auto mechanics. This included the ENT schools. This included, we're not just talking about University of Texas, but like every single place someone can get some kind of a degree, profession, barber schools, everything. And we went and dropped off posters at every one of those places, and we got tables anywhere we could, because if I can get one recruit from there and then get 2, 3, 4 of their friends that start with us, I'm going to start building my organization. It takes 3 weeks to build a team that you want if you really focus on it, to have a double digits on your team. It takes 3 weeks to sell 10K. And by the way, that's the goal. Can you get to a double digit launch within 3 weeks? Meaning maybe the first week you launch one or two, right? And then the next week, like this past week, so for me, it was like, okay, I've got 3 launches, which I don't have 3 launches anymore. I wanted to get a double digit launch. So it was like, okay, we're going to run the training last week. Okay, we launched 2. Now I have training next week. And the goal was there to have, before it was supposed to be 5 to 7 and then 10, but I'm like, all right, we got to jump to 10 because we went backwards. We had launched a couple and I wanted to build it. So it's like, can you launch 2 or 3 your first one? Can you build out to 5 to 7 your second launch? Can you have 10 launch by your 3rd seminar? That, by the way, that's a perfect world. So don't be like, oh yeah, I'm going to launch 10 before. That's the ideal. Like if you could how soon can I get my double digit launch? And if you can get it by week 3, that's a really positive thing, just so you guys know. So don't be kicking yourself in the butt if you only launch 2 people your first week. That's normal, all right? Now, if you can bring it forward, it's even more exciting, all right? And that's where, this next weekend, I'm like, all right, what do we need to do to launch double digits? I want to launch double digits this week. And then just PRs, social media. Like, I'm going to pretend I'm starting from absolute scratch, even though I do have a couple resources from this past summer, some reps now. But as we build into the new year, my mind right now for December is I'm going to pretend like I'm starting from absolute scratch, got no reps. And by doing all of these things to maximize 2016, to maximize the set number for after Christmas and going into the new year. And so do you have that intensity as you go into the end of your semester? Something that is very, very important. We did not do a good job of that for this semester. We have got to be on this for next year, is when you guys start January 18, whenever your first day of classes are, talking to your professors first week. And I did for an internship. I just, got selected this past weekend in Houston. It starts on May 1st, or you say April 15th, to you, when you're going to start in your office. But I'm supposed to be in my territory, getting things ready by mid-April. So something I was talking to my professors about was just to see, if there are things that I can do throughout the semester for extra credit, if there's things that I can do to kind of bring forward, what would I need to do to be able to take finals 2 weeks early, so that I can get to my territory with enough time to set up my office, hire a receptionist, get my electricity and everything put in, so that I can really go, out the doors running, and I really want to be able to really kick butt right off the bat. And so just letting them know, and I have all the stuff that you can show them and a letter that you can give to them a little further on. But something that's important for you guys is, are you on top of your stuff? Are you on top of your grades? Are you being responsible? Are you showing up to class? Are you skipping school? Be on top of your stuff, guys. That's really important. Let them know ahead of time. We have a cruise for anyone who, won the cruise. So you got to let them know ahead of time, hey, I've got this cruise on these dates. What schoolwork do I need to get done beforehand? Tell them in the beginning, because they'll be like, wow, like this person's like planning ahead. That's such a huge thing to see that kind of responsibility. And then reminding them 2 weeks prior and saying, hey, my cruise is in 2 weeks from now. Is there anything I need to turn in next week just to make sure I stay on track with things, and using those as your excused absences. So anyway, social media. So Ryan just walked through this before, Mr. Culver over here, but I moved to territory. What do I want to do? I want to, first, high schools, right? High schools are easy, real easy, but we also want colleges. So we want high schools and colleges. So when it comes to high schools, what's an easy route? By the way, some schools, they have like the National Honor Society. They have clubs on there. They have different things. Here, I couldn't find the football guys on Taylor, but then I found the volleyball team was here. And then I rolled down and I can go to here to roster, and they had people's names, but right away it had some different, had first team here, outstanding defensive player, and then it had congratulations for being named Houston Chronicles Female Athlete of the Week for September 8th. So I was like, cool. So I went to Facebook and looked her up, and she's there. All right. So then I just went to friends. And we just started going, and we messaged all of her friends, by the way. So I messaged all of her friends, which I have like 6 responses that I needed to check. But these are people. So, and by the way, you see someone, you're like, oh, this person looks super sharp. Oh, this girl or guy, whoever goes to Texas TCU, I like that person. I go to that person, and I'm like, all right, cool. Lives in Katy, Texas. Perfect. That's what I want. So I'm going to go here to friends, and now I'm going to go friend all his friends. And you could there's so many people you can message. And if you want to go back and first do all the athlete-specific friends and then go to the next generation friends, but I'm like, I know I want to get into this school, then I'm going to hit up all the girls, all the seniors. And some of the schools, like when I went to, I think it was Katy. Katy actually had like what year they are, so it's like senior, junior, like next to their name on the rosters, so that I could focus on the seniors, right? That's who you want to focus on, are the seniors. But you can do this for your schools, all right? Even if you only have 1 or 2 schools, you get a couple of those kids, you get some PR chains going. It gets amazing, guys. Like, what can happen, all right? We did 146 grand in my branch, and I only had like 30 people that I recruited, but we developed great people. Like I had scholarship winner that summer. I had 3 people that sold over 30K for that summer. Eve Ashleman, oh my gosh, Lauren Bradley, which I just talked to last week. She bought some Cutco for me for my contest, and I also had that summer Casey Downing, and all those guys sold over 30,000 that summer. And then I had 2 people like at 10K, and then a bunch of people that sold like 1 to 3K, 2 that were like at 6K, you know, and then people that didn't sell anything at all. But it was just like, it was a core group that sold a lot of Cutco. But I got some great recruits from really focusing, and PR program was a big thing. So we've got your high school. So for high schools, again, public and private. You know, do you know your public and private schools, whether it's 1 to 3 schools or it's more, you know, having a list of them, going and checking out the athletes, you know, going and checking out the National Honor Society, NHS, any clubs that are there, anything, any extracurriculars. Those are people that are, you know, used to being like in a team, huh?
The
Band, all right. That's kind of a club, no? Band, choir, any groups, like,
debate.
I'm gonna just put that on there. Club/groups, all right? So all those, but look them up. And then you just search for them on Facebook. Some are gonna be easier to find than others. One of the things that Danny talked about is every week he would add a couple people from that area. Because when you switch your city to lives in blank city, you guys will have suggested friends, you know, from that city. And when you have one person, here's what happens now, ready? If someone doesn't know you, all right, so you move to Sealy, Texas, you message one of the kids from the high school, they don't know you, you don't have a mutual friend. What would normally happen back in the day is it went into this other folder, all right, and they just never saw it. I never looked at my other folder, all right, maybe some did, but it took a month to look at it. Now, Facebook took away the other folder, by the way, a couple weeks ago, and now it comes in as like a friend request, but it's a message request. So-and-so's requested to send you, so you have to accept it. So yes, we can lose some people who like decline, but most people are curious, like, oh, what's this message? So they'll accept it and read it. By the way, now you have them as a mutual friend. It says they've accepted your friend or whatever. Like, I've had all these new people. I'm like, who are these people? But whatever. That's good for me because now I have more mutual friends with people from whatever school. And so if they look, they're like, oh, we have 8 mutual friends. That's cool. Who's this person? And so that'll keep building. So adding people that request you, suggested friends in that area. And as you're sending messages, you're going to have more people that'll become mutual friends. Cool? So just so you guys know that.
Oh, she was saying I've had several of my friends from like even employees I haven't active just be like, oh, this person that works with Vector on Facebook, you're the only mutual I have.
Oh, I've messaged so many that had your name on there. Well, no, not even, it wasn't even from you, but so many kids from Memorial that had Dawson as a, that had you, and then my guys, Harrison Byro and Jack Roberts, and I recruited a guy yesterday who was recommended by Jack Roberts, super stud. He knew you. He was like, oh, yeah, I know Dawson. I don't know, I gotta look at his name. But he left back to school to Austin, but he's gonna train next weekend. So he's ready to go after finals. So anyway, this right here, so you guys do that, all right? So make sure to go, so everyone good? Do you guys feel comfortable with that? Yeah. So anywhere you go, boom, you have recruits, and we build off of that. Yeah. And then we have the colleges. So with the colleges, you want to look up, and by the way, sometimes, and it might be those smaller little schools, smaller territory, you just have to look around. Sometimes they don't have a group, right? So let's say I go here and I'm like, I don't know if university, some have their own private groups, like University of Houston class of 2015 has a group. So I can go into here to members. And like we share the schools here, so we all had letters that we were in charge of, but then you have like the people and you can message them. Cool. So for us as a management team, we split up letters according to all offices that we're sharing them with people we could message, and then we could, build off of them and their friends. But then there's some schools that don't have, like for instance, Lone Star. Lone Star doesn't, we couldn't find any groups for Lone Star. All right, so I'm like, all right, so we've got Sci-Fair, whatever, Technical Institute, right? So it's a page. But what can you do is you can look to see who liked it. So I'm like, oh, okay, this person, like this. Sasha McCall, and I'm like, all right, and maybe I like her, maybe I don't. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna send to her. Or I look at her friend, so she's private, all right? So she's not gonna be one that's gonna help me here. And that's sometimes like with the ones that don't have pages, you just wanna find, where are the connections or whatever. So for different pictures or things that are posted, So this person looks older. Chelsea added something. All right. Whatever. Studies Associates of Science. So I'm like, all right, Chelsea, send her a message. I can send her a message. She has hers private as well, but I can send her a message. And then once if she accepts me, then I'll have access, to her people. But you'll play around with it when they don't have a group and just see. But you guys can check also for social media in your city. Maybe there's clubs, right? So there's the local rugby, team or whatever. Like, yeah, that they have community groups. So those local teams, they'll have their own groups or pages. So are you guys looking those up, or are you like, oh, I have no people, like no one's calling me, or I don't have anything? Like, there's an unlimited amount of resources. It's just you sitting down and basically e-flyering, just sending those out. So that's just like putting out cards, but you're targeting and finding the schools you want to get into, the people that you want to reach out to. So you're being specific with your e-flyering. All right. So we went through that, but making sure you guys go through your colleges, any of their groups, any of their pages. But then again, clubs, all the extracurricular clubs with the colleges, a lot of them have that, and the community groups that have those as well. You can also check out churches in the area or youth groups, like any of the churches that are there, and looking up to see if their youth group might have. I know there's some that do, and it's just like if someone made it, they have it, just depending, where you're at, they might have a group there. But just really thinking outside the box. When I was a branch, I went and fly out on the beach. I was in a really small city that was on the water. It was at the top of another territory. I was Bradenton, Florida, and I went out to the beach because everyone would go to the beach. There was nothing to do in that town. Everything closed at 10. I'd go to the movie theaters, and I'd go to the beach. And I'd go on Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, and I'd take flyers, and I'd walk around and hand out flyers, at the beach. And I got some recruits from that. And then I PR'd those people. And I went to downtown where the movie theater was on Saturday night and Friday night, and I walked around, and I handed out flyers to people, and I got recruits from that. And then I PR'd off of that. So, are you doing the things that you can be doing? So comments, questions on that?
It's like everything's an avenue, like literally everything.
All roads lead to Rome, y'all.
Do you guys, by the way, people who ran offices or help run, do you guys feel comfortable with this? Do you feel you can get more? If you did this before, you could have gotten more recruits doing this.
Yeah. We just need to implement it systematically so that we're actually doing it.
Yep, and we'll have a timeline to make sure this is all getting done. All right. But that's something that we can incorporate. So I want to make sure that we're on top of that, because that's a big source of getting started in a new town, or whenever you just need it. Because once you get things rolling, by the way, you should be rocking your PRs. Oh, there you go. Stretching shoes. You should be rocking PRs on some random person. All right. That's what happens when random people add you. But anyway, you guys should be PRing off those people. Where the traditional, the rep-driven, the steroids, like that takes up all your time. So really, the social media, it's to kick off a campaign. It's to kick off a semester. The rest of the time, it's just PRing from those people. All right, ongoing thing forever, because now you have reps, and now you're going to have them help PR their friends. So the rep, and again, I'm going to go through in December 19th, and we'll prepare for that for the January program. But what's the full cycle of a sales representative from when they start off and they launch out on Friday or Saturday, whenever is their launch date? When's your blitz day? It should be a day later, if not that day. So maximizing the traditional calling. And then do you have rep driven, and then I'm actually sending out social media messages. And so we're putting that together for you guys, so you have the exact timeline, so we can really maximize that. Sounds good? All right. Any questions with that?